And thanks for joining us for another edition of Weekend Winners, proudly brought to you by 1Equine for the equine athlete. We go back to Albion Park on Saturday night, 10 races, and this meeting obviously coincides with the big night down in Sydney at Menangle, and Queensland have a lot to cheer on, headlined by Leap to Fame and Speak the Truth, the Queensland-owned Frankie Ferocious. So that trio all competing in the $1 million Garrard's Miracle Mile there on Saturday night. The last time a Queensland horse competed in a Miracle Mile was 2014, so it's 10 years ago. So hopefully we can bounce back with vengeance on Saturday night. Hopefully one of those three-star performers can come out on top. Hopefully it will be Leap to Fame, and that will cap a remarkable 6-month window for this star pacer. Inter-Dominion, Hunter Cup, and hopefully a Miracle Mile coming his way on the weekend. Here at Albion Park, we've got the Team Teal Female Drivers Invitational Race, which comes up as Race 5. It's a race for the mares, and all the lady drivers are competing with their teal pants on, raising vital funds in the fight against ovarian cancer. So that's going to be the highlight on Saturday night. We kick off just after 5 o'clock. In this edition of Weekend Winners, I'm going to speak with Ben Battle and Narissa McMullen. Ben Battle jumps into the hot seat to go through his runners on Saturday night, and he's with us now. Ben, appreciate the time.
No worries, Chris. Good on you, mate.
Race 2 for you. That's where you start Saturday night. Jackawally drawn the inside of the second row at a mile. So the start's going to be crucial here. You're following out Hazelnuts. What's the early vibe with this race?
I think this fella's, much better suited at the mile. He seems to get a little bit revvy over the longer distances, and last week was no exception to that. He got a nice trip leaders back, but he probably got a little bit grabby throughout stages of the race and probably wasn't able to finish it off as good as we expected. So back to the mile Saturday night, and hopefully he can hold a forward enough spot there if the one wants to boot through early, and he hopefully looks he might get his chance, leaders back if that eventuates.
Yeah, so ideally you want Hazelnuts to lead, and you're sitting right behind him.
Yeah, that's right. If it works out that way, well, we're going to get a gun trip. But even if he ends up 3 back the rail, it's not the worst thing in the world on a Saturday night at Albion Park. But we're playing with needing a bit of luck there.
All right. Just looking at the field, it's quite an even field, isn't it? Hazelnuts is probably the key runner because he brings different form lines to town. But away from him, it's rather open.
Yeah, definitely, Chris. Yeah, it's sort of. They look a pretty even bunch there, so at least we've got the barrier draw on our side there, so hopefully he can run well.
Just looking back at that replay from last week of Jackawally, as you said, he got that right trip, but that was quite a strong race, that, and the winner was really impressive.
Yeah, definitely, Chris, yeah, and he probably over-raced, as I said, through stages of the race, which didn't help his chances, so back to a mile Saturday night. I'm expecting him to be a lot sharper.
All right. Race 3, Heaven Attracts, drawn the outside of the second row at a mile. It's never good news when you get that sort of conditions put in front of you, but is he capable here?
As you said, the barrier draw really stings there. It always does over the short trip and an outside second row draw. So this fella's been a few weeks between runs as well, so he looks to have a few things going against him there, but hopefully he can just race well.
When he came up from Victoria, what was the target for him? What was the options going forward with him?
There wasn't really any plans going forward. We just thought we'd get him up here to Queensland and see if he could sort of make that Saturday night grade, which he's won one on a Saturday night already, and he's sort of been hampered a little bit by barrier draws over the last 3 or 4 starts, but hopefully his turn will come here shortly.
Yeah, well, you're right about the barrier draws. He couldn't buy one at the moment.
No, definitely. I think the only time he's drawn a decent gate in Queensland, he was able to lead and win that race on a Saturday night, going back 3 or 4 starts. So, definitely barriers haven't been his friend lately.
Yeah. Okay, let's go across to race 7. This race for the mares, and this is a good quality race here for the mares. You've got 2 runners, Rock and Roll Mama first up, and San Maria, who's in super form. So we'll go in number order here. Rock and Roll Mama fresh up. What are the expectations?
She's been a little while between runs. We just freshened her after her last race, and then she had a little bit of a foot issue going back a little while now, so we sort of just freshened her and brought her back through to the races. So, I'm sort of thinking whatever she does this Saturday night, she'll take a lot of benefit out of going forward into her prep.
She hasn't trialled, has she?
No, she hasn't. No, she's going fresh up Saturday night.
All right. San Maria, on the other hand, she's fit and firing. You must be thrilled with the way she's going.
Yeah, she's definitely, exceeded all expectations over the last, 6 to 12 months. She's really developed into a nice little mare and just going from strength to strength at the moment. So it's just great to go on the ride with her.
Yeah, and a good one to take to the races because she wears no gear.
Yeah, that's right. She's definitely an easy one to gear up, which is always good.
Okay. Now, just looking back at last week here, in front you had Vindicate on your hammer last week, and they were clearly the top two in betting. But she was able to hold Vindicate quite comfortably in the drive to the line.
Yeah, definitely. Like, probably her Achilles heel over the last sort of 12 months is she lacks a little bit of high speed. But over her last few races and the last sort of, particularly since she sort of got into racing Saturday nights, I think she's starting to develop that bit of turn of foot, and she really showed that good on Saturday night and was able to hold Vindicate right to the line, which was really impressive.
So with 3 of her last 4 races being victories, she keeps rising in grade, but there's no reason why she's not going to handle this sort of level now, and she doesn't have to lead to win. Like in a lot of those victories, she's been in front, but she's not a one-trick pony, is she?
No, definitely not. She's raced at, a decent level throughout a 3-year-old season, racing a few of the feature races, Oaks races up here in Queensland, and held her own in those races, although she didn't, feature in them. She would, never disgrace herself throughout them races. So racing decent quality horses is, no surprise to us. So hopefully she can just keep sort of progressing through and improving a little bit more. And I think she can stand up to that open mare Saturday night grade here in Queensland.
Well, I know the form's going to be dependent on this next question, but is this likely to be her last season of racing?
I'm really not sure. I haven't gone too far into that with the owners, Alf and Rosario Laspina, but just at the moment, as I said, she sort of exceeded all expectations and probably gone further than we sort of expected her to. So at the moment, we're just taking it week to week and make decisions on the run, I think.
Okay. Which one are you more confident about? Jackawally drawing the inside of the second row or San Maria stepping up to open mares level?
I think it's just dependent. Jackawally, if he gets that right trip, I think he's sort of in with a good chance. But, you can't ignore the little mare's form. She's really just stepped up every time she's been asked of lately. So hopefully she can do that again and take it to that open mares grade.
All right. Just with Jackawally, he's still got a few left in him, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's a nice horse. He just had a few little issues throughout his career, and then he's had a few head problems throughout his career. Also, he went through a bit of a phase there where he couldn't get it right. But I think we've got him going back on the right track now, and sort of been really pleased with his last 3 or 4 starts. So hopefully going forward he can get into his Saturday night grades and do a good job for his connections.
All right. The other one that I had to ask about as well, Into the Mystic. You've got her going around in the Team Teal Female Drivers Invitation. She's a little bit up and down, but how are you finding it with her Into the Mystic? Is she just a victim of the NR sort of system?
In a way she is, Chris, yeah. Like she was, an unraced 4-year-old when she came across from New Zealand, and it's sort of hard when them horses go on a bit of a run. She won her first couple of races in a row and then found herself in pretty solid grade. We've had a few little issues with her along the way as well. She got sick and had to be spelled for 3 months, after her first couple of runs, and then she really come back in good order, and we're really pleased with the way she trialled up, and her first up win was really good, but then we've had a few little issues with her, a few little setbacks with her again, but we're sort of a lot more confident going into this Saturday night that we've got her somewhere near where, she needs to be to perform.
It's a good money race. It'll be a nice one to pick up.
Yeah, sure would be. Penalty free as well, so it'll be the perfect race to win if you can get the job done.
All right. Hey, really appreciate the time. Best of luck on Saturday night, and we'll see you trackside.
Good on you, Chris. Thanks, mate.
Narissa McMullen jumps into the hot seat to go through her book of drives on Saturday night, and she's with us now. Narissa, appreciate the time.
No worries, Chris.
This is a good race again to start the program, much like it was last week. You're driving Tiger by the Tail. He's going more than okay, this guy.
Yeah, he was really good last start. This week probably a little bit stronger, but he likes the speed on, so that might suit him.
Have we worked out or established what his best racing pattern is? Last week he drew wide, you went back, and he really attacked the line, but he's more than capable up on the speed. So what is his best racing pattern?
I think probably not doing too much early and just following him. Pulling him out late seems to be the go. It's just a bit of a tricky draw for him. Ideally, we probably just slide across and get some cover, but yeah, just see how we go.
Okay, so it does prove to be a little bit sticky, this barrier draw, because in some ways you've got to commit, but you don't want to overplay your hand.
Yeah, exactly. Don't want to do too much early, but at the same time want to try and get into the best position we can.
Okay. Bangkok DJ, is he the yardstick in this race? Is he the horse to beat?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. But with any sort of luck, he shouldn't be too far away, Tiger by the tail?
No, I think he'll run a good race.
Okay. Well, that's race 1. Let's move to race 2. Your own runner here, Bobby Waterhouse. Just on last time out when he won, was it relief more than anything when you crossed the line in first place?
Yeah, definitely a bit of a relief to finally win a race with him, but he'd been going really well. Just hadn't quite been able to win one up until then.
Yeah, that was the frustrating part. He's been running some super races, just finding it hard to crack, and he's been going up against good opposition, but last time out, he was able to put them away and get the verdict.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so this is a more difficult assignment this week because last time out you had the inside gate, barrier 1. You've got gate 7. That's a shocking draw, isn't it?
Yeah, it makes things a bit tricky, but I think he is a versatile sort of type, so might have to just drive him a bit differently, but yeah, see where we end up in the run.
Okay, I was going to ask, do you get involved early or are you likely just to grab straight up?
Oh, ideally we just slot in somewhere and don't do much early, but doesn't always work out like that, so just see where we end up, otherwise we can work forward. Yeah, he's, like I said, he's versatile. It doesn't really worry him what he does, but yeah, I think he'll go really well though.
All right, how do you rate the opposition? Hazelnuts comes up from New South Wales. There's a few there that you know really well, so how do you rate this opposition?
I think he's as good as any of them. Just the draw hurts him a bit.
Okay, just going back to that last start performance, R11 Art was on your outside. He put the head in front. What were you thinking there at the top of the straight?
He does always sort of get going when he gets to the straight, so I was hoping he'd kick on, and he did, so he likes a bit of a fight.
Okay, well that's race 2, number 7, Bobby Waterhouse. What about race 3? You're driving Chappie Street North here for Matty. What are the expectations with this guy?
He's a horse with plenty of ability, but he's got plenty of tricks to go with it. I think if he does everything right, he'll run a really good race. So I think the secret is we just got to let him run. He hates being restrained, so we'll be letting him go forward and letting him do what he wants.
Oh, this could be like waving a red flag to a bull here, so you just let him loose here at the start.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Okay, what did you make of the trial there last week?
Nothing went to plan. He ended up galloping, and yeah, just because I had to restrain him, I was boxed in, and yeah, grabbing hold of him too much, he galloped. So, but once he got down pacing, he ran a super quick last lap.
Okay, so how did he find his way to Matty's stable, this guy?
Connor sent him up from Victoria. Yeah, just thought the change might do him good. Yeah, we sort of all think he has plenty of ability, but just hadn't really been showing it. So hopefully he can put his best foot forward.
Okay, so you think he will be okay here in the long term in Queensland?
Yeah, I think he's a really nice horse.
Okay, so a bit of a push there for Chappie Street North. Just with only his best drawn to your inside, do you expect a little bit of pushback at the start here from that horse?
Yeah, but not the best draw for us. Yeah, the 1 and 2 probably both be trying to come out, but we'll just have to let him do what he wants and see where we end up.
Okay, race 5 on Saturday night. This is the Team Teal Female Drivers Invitation. You're driving Kiang Moonshine. This is a mare that's in really good form, so do you rate her chances here?
Yeah, her last few starts have been really good, and she sort of looks a pretty versatile type, can do a little bit of work, so I think she'll run a really good race.
Okay, so from gate 4 at a mile, you're sort of inclined to run the gate and have a bit of a look early?
Yeah, I think we'll have a look early and go from there, but yeah, she sort of seems to be able to do it on both ends.
All right, there's a push there for Kiang Moonshine. What about in race 7? You know this mare well, Miss Mucho. What are we doing with Miss Mucho on Saturday night?
Oh, I think I'll just have to sum things up at the start. Looks to be a bit of speed there. But she is a mare with really good gate speed, so we'll just see what happens. She's going well. Last start was a bit unlucky, but she went really good, so I think she'll run a really good race.
Okay, does the small field suit?
Yeah, it does, because if we have to go back, leashes shouldn't be too far off them.
Okay, if you do go forward and slot in, and they're getting along at a good tempo early, she's not without it. She's not the worst in this field, is she?
No, I think she's right in this race.
Okay, there's a push for Miss Mucho. What about in race number 8, another race for the mares? She's a pocket rocket. You know her well. What are the expectations here?
Not a bad draw. She should get a good trip from there, and yeah, probably just needs a nice soft trip and not an overly strong race. I think she can go okay.
Okay, last couple of efforts have been okay, so it's just tempo related for her on Saturday night?
Yeah, hopefully a few go stupid early and that'll suit her.
All right, well, that's She's a Pocket Rocket. Race 9, Flare Up, I should say, running from gate 3. At a mile, if she finds the front, can she prove hard to catch here?
I don't actually think she's much good in front.
Okay.
Last time I led on her, she went terrible, but yeah, so it's a little bit tricky what we do, but she probably just needs a nice soft trip, and I think she can run a good race.
All right, well, you were able to give her that soft trip 4 runs ago when she scored, so if we can repeat that, she's not out of it.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, well, that's Flare Up there in race 9. What about the last race 10? This is not a bad trot race to end the program on Saturday night. My Ultimate Eddie, he was able to score last time out. How do you think he's going, and is it all about confidence with Eddie?
Yeah, I think he's going super, but it is all about confidence. Yeah, made a little mistake last start, but was still able to win. So hopefully he puts his best foot forward and trots the whole way. And I think he can run a good race, but the draw is probably a bit hard, makes it a bit hard.
Okay, just on that draw, so you've got Majestic Lavros drawn to your inside, who's first up. Adele's the only runner off the second row. They look to be the class. They were both finalists for the Inter Dominion, but My Ultimate Eddie, just looking at this last start replay, there was a lot to like about that win, because he made that early error and then he just kept rolling along. So if he can sort of do something similar, he's not going to be far away.
No, that's it. We'll probably try and get him into the race early if we can, and if he's doing everything right, I think he will run a good race, yeah.
Do you prefer him over something longer than a mile?
Yeah, I think he is better over the longer trips. He probably lacks a little bit of higher speed, but he'll just keep going all day.
Okay. Out of all your drives on Saturday night, which one are you most looking forward to?
I think Miss Mucho.
Okay, Miss Mucho there in race number 7. The big query horse is going to be Chappie Street North, though, in race number 3. If you've been given the go-ahead to light him up, that could be interesting, that race.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Hey, appreciate the time. We'll see you trackside Saturday night.
No worries, Chris. Thanks.
A big thanks to our 2 drivers, Ben Battle and Narissa McMullen, giving up their time and thoughts ahead of their drives on the weekend. Hopefully, there's plenty of winners for both on Saturday night. Looking for a good thing, there's a few smaller field sizes there on Saturday night, but I think in race 3, banking on a stack of speed there early in that race, and that should set up nicely for Apollo Dreams. He's a high-quality performer for Mark Ducks. Matt Nielsen takes the drive. I think he'll run a really good race. Race 3, number 9, Apollo Dreams, marking him as the best bet. Remember, if you are gambling this weekend, please do so responsibly. It's a good night of racing at Albion Park on Saturday night. The free-for-all is race 4, but all eyes, without doubt, on Sydney at Menangle, the Garrard's Miracle Mile, Leap to Fame, Speak the Truth, Frankie Ferocious. They're all there flying the flag for Queensland. We'll see you trackside at the Creek this Saturday night.